Hello, YouTube. How's everybody doing today? Hope everyone's doing well. Anyways, today's video is just a quick show and tell of my Things We're Making Thursday item. I know I was going to post it last week, the progress, like how far I'd gotten last week. But with hubby being on holidays and him and our son just getting off being on strike with work, on Thursday morning they had to go and pick up their last strike pay. And then when they got home from that, hubby decided, let's go to the trailer now instead of waiting until later. So I never did a video last week. So what is Things We're Making Thursday? It started back in January 2023 with a very small group of ladies that I like to call the founding mothers. Decided to get together and they came up with 12 free crochet patterns, one for each month of the year. And throughout each month, they would show that pattern, like their progress and changes they've made or errors they may have found in the pattern and different things like that. And then throughout the year, the group got bigger. I followed along but did not participate. But they also started a Facebook group called Things We're Making Thursday. So if you want to go and check that out, you're more than welcome to. It is a private group just so that if people are posting in there and it's going to be a gift at a later date and they don't want someone on their friends and family list to see it, it's a good way to post it. So anyways, you can participate in a couple different ways. One, if you're a content creator or not a content creator, you can either upload your photos to the Facebook group or you can get in contact with different content creators who are doing videos and see if they'll share your photos in their videos, which I would be happy to do if someone reaches out to me. So that was 2023's. Throughout the year, I know with me following, I did come across a few knitted patterns that were very similar to the crochet ones that they were honoring each month. So I did share them in the Facebook group. And I know Erin over at Crafting Kitty did the same thing when she would do her weekly videos. So I guess by the end of 2023, they decided, let's change it up. And they made it so that they did themes each month. And you can make knitted, crochet, sewed, pretty much almost any kind of craft you want to do, as long as it represented that theme. And then this year, they decided to change it just a little, where they wanted you to actually design your own, like project you make. So for this month's theme, it was to make either a wrap, a shawl, a shrug, and I decided to go. Originally, I wanted to go with a wrap, and I kind of wanted to do it in a chevron pattern, just so I could, kill multiple entries with one item. And I went by the pattern or the stitch tutorial I saw, and it made it kind of wider, which is the width I was kind of looking for, but it was eating up the yarn really quickly. And I thought, this isn't going to work for a wrap. So I tore it all out, started again with a smaller number of stitches, and got about 15 rows into it. And I kind of looked at it, thought, okay, it's not eating up the yarn as quickly, obviously, because the rows are shorter. But I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, this is more of a scarf size, not really a wrap size. So I gave up on the wrap, and I will admit, I didn't design this pattern. I just tweaked it a little by changing one thing on it. So I think it counts. And this item is going to be entered into, more or less it's for three in one projects. It's going to be my Things We're Making Thursday project. It is been entered into the Heather the Crochet Witch make along she has every month, the Great Cake Off Wars. And then in September, this will be going into Erin's crochet or Crafting Kitty Creator Spotlight. So this is the shawl I made. Okay, so there's the top. Now I find with doing this type of shawl where you start here at the top, I always find it kind of, I don't know, I don't know if it's like a little too big, too small, what it is. So I think next time I gotta do a shawl this way, I'm just gonna do single crochets up here instead of these ones are trouble, by the way. Because once I get going, the line's nice and straight, but it's just really weird here at the corner, at the top where it would sit at the your back of your neck kind of thing. So we're just gonna kind of move it on up so you guys can see the colorway. So there you go. Now, how did I tweak it? Well, to start off with the pattern, the video I actually watched, I know she used a 5-weight yarn. I only used a 3-weight. I used one full cake of mandala, and I actually really like this yarn. It's not scratchy or anything, but it's not like super soft. But that's what I ended up using, and so that's one way I changed it because I used a different yarn size. And then the second way is at the with the larger yarn. I don't think she did as many rows in the video I watched than what I did. So it is probably smaller but more rows. I'm not 100% sure. I gotta go back and watch the video. And then I know on hers, the video I watched, at the end you're supposed to do one row of single crochets. Well, I did those in the same yarn, but then I got out my eyelash yarn, some white that I had. It's actually a full skein that I ended up using. And then I did a full row of treble crochets because that's what these clusters are. They're trebles, not doubles. So then I just did a treble in each one. So that's, I added a kind of a soft, fuzzy type border to it, which wasn't in the pattern itself. So I guess that's how you say I tweaked it a little. But this is my Things to Make in Thursday. I'm not gonna make anything else this month, but the last Thursday of the month, I will come back. Just giving you guys one more look of it with a slideshow of past shawls I've made and shrugs and wraps and such. And if I've had anyone contact me, with their own photos, I'll show them off then too. And then I will also mention at the end of the month what next month's item is. So if you want to see, you have to stay tuned. Also, because the way it's been changed, where we can do kind of whatever craft we like. I know a lot of people say crochet knit, so if you do like crochet knit and then you felt it, I also think if you're gonna take like say diamond art or needlepoint and then the main focus of that picture you're making is whatever the theme is, I feel it counts. Yeah, okay. Obviously, like for example, I know I've seen pictures before where it's like a room and it's full of different quilts and other blankets within the picture, and obviously you can't use it as a blanket, but it's focusing on the blanket. Also, I think if you do like photography and for example, say the month is bags and you're out somewhere and all of a sudden you see like a little wind tunnel and you got 3 or 4 different plastic bags, twirling around in the wind tunnel and you take a really awesome picture. I think it still counts. Yeah, it's not the fiber arts, but it's still an art. And then maybe amongst your group of people, you know, may fall in love with it. Same with if you do beadwork or resin or polymer clay or you're into paper crafting and you can make something that represents, what the theme is, by all means do so. I would recommend though, if you're going to send myself pictures for me to share, please, if there's any children in the video or picture, or anyone whom is like disabled in any way, physical, mental, whatever, please give me the okay to share the photo. And the reason I ask, I know with YouTube, minor children, you got to have consent. And I will, if you're okay with it, take your photo and I'll go over to my 3D paint program and I will find a way to, blur out the faces, like put something over top of it or something. And I will let you know that's what I would be doing. But when it comes to someone who's physical or mentally disabled, mm, just a little bit of backstory you guys may not know. My mom's oldest sister, like my grandparents' oldest child, when my grandmother was 7 months pregnant, fell down a set of outdoor metal stairs in a snowstorm. And because way back then, like my aunt's now 72 or 73. So back like 70 something years ago, they didn't do ultrasounds and such and didn't realize with my grandmother falling, it ended up wrapping the cord around my aunt's neck. So for the last few months of pregnancy, she lost a lot of oxygen and was born mentally handicapped due to it. Love my aunt to death, though, mind you. But obviously, if someone's in that kind of a state, they can't give you consent. So if you're going to take photos, please be very aware of the environment, of who may be there. Same with, you don't know that person's backstory. They may be running from, an abusive relationship of some kind and, change cities, change countries even, like we don't know. And then for some reason, this abusive person happens to watch your or see your photo or your video or whatever it may be. Just be extra cautious if somebody's in it, please, especially if it's a photo, or find a way to blur out their faces or take a photo like so it's like here down kind of thing. Because like I know with myself in the last 25 years, I have not changed at all in my looks. Like thankfully my husband's a very caring, loving man. But like who's to say, I wasn't with him only for a couple years and it went really sour and I'm trying to get away from him, or I did get away from him, and then someone took my photo or a photo of something and I ended up being in it, and then he somehow seen your photo and was able to at least track down roughly where I was, I wouldn't feel safe. So if you are going to do photos, please be very cautious of who may be in the photo. And again, if you do send me any photos, make sure if they're an adult, you have their consent, because I will not share their photos or their faces if you don't. And if it's a child, I need consent from you that it's okay, that's your child. But yeah, have fun with it. I'm going to actually have a second video up after this one at some point. I still got to record it. But I'm going to upload this one and I'm going to record a second video because I've been kind of binge watching Erin's channel. And one of the videos I watched actually a couple days from her, I watched it a couple days ago. It's about a year-old video. Gave me an idea, and I'm gonna share my own, I guess you could say. But mine's gonna be in a couple different parts, all in one. So if you want to see what that's about, keep an eye out. Anyways, guys, we'll talk to you in a little bit. Bye for now.